Thank you for stopping by the Inside Deschutes County podcast. Wherever you might be and however you might be listening, we appreciate you making us a small part of your day. We hope you click those subscribe and download buttons, and be sure to catch us wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also find us on Deschutes.org/podcast.
Deschutes County is an amazing place to live,
Ease of access,
work, and play.
Great place to raise a family.
I love the weather and the high desert.
At Deschutes County, we provide excellent service.
We're here to help you.
Deschutes County is the heart of Oregon.
Everyone wants to be here.
This is episode 13 of the Inside Deschutes County podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Eric Breon. So many things happening across the county. We talked property taxes last episode. We also have a special election coming up. That's November 7th. We talked to the county clerk about that. If you missed those episodes, you can still go back and listen wherever you listen to your podcasts. And now we're going to switch gears, so to speak. We're going to talk roads. Our road department director, Chris Doty, is here. Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
This is where I'm supposed to say thank you for having me,
That's
right?
something like that. Something along those lines.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's always helpful when the guest, kind of interacts a little bit.
I love that intro.
We worked long and hard on that. It's funny because I do get some questions about that. It's members of the admin team. So we just kind of went around, asked them what they liked about the county, and we recorded it. And so, we put the little spiel together.
Very nice. This is a real podcast, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's very real. It's very real. So we flipped the calendar to November. Have you put your golf clubs away?
Golf clubs are
like
still,
for Chris Doty?
they're still hanging out.
Yeah.
One more attempt to play here in a couple weeks, a Toys for Tots tournament
Oh,
out at
okay.
Prasada on November 18th.
Well, that's cool.
It is cool. It's very cold that day.
Oh, cold. Cold.
Yeah, cold weather golf. You aim for the center of the pond.
Okay.
Hopefully it's frozen and it gives you another 100 yards.
Handicap, what are we looking at here?
It's a 12-6,
Okay.
but like most golfers, I'm going to immediately say, but I'm playing to more like a 19 right now.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Yeah.
November, so waxing the skis. I mean, you got the playoff beard going on right now, so that's kind of...
this is the elk beard.
Oh, it's the elk beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm a member of Elk Team 6. You may have heard of us, but
Have not.
but no,
But feel
we're
free
an
to
elk hunting
enlighten us.
team, and that's what we do.
All right.
We don't find them as much as we like, but we do hunt them.
Okay. Are you a car guy? I would assume that the road department director might be into like mechanical things, like cars or
I'm 50 years
bikes.
old.
Okay.
I've owned 3 cars my entire life.
What? 3 cars. What are the 3 cars?
Let's see, a 1984 Ford Escort diesel.
Ford Escort.
Yep.
Okay, that's
diesel,
big time.
which was
A
pretty
diesel.
rare. I'll say a 96 Toyota Tacoma.
Okay.
And then the current rig I have now is a 2008 Toyota Tundra. I've had that, almost 15 years. 2006 Toyota Tundra. I bought it in 2008. So,
I've seen that guy. It's a beast.
250,000 miles.
Wait, 250?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is farther.
You're driving that thing into the ground.
Actually, that is farther than the distance from the Earth to the moon.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've driven it to
That's
the
a
moon,
good
and I've
tidbit
turned
for
the
this
corner. I'm on
podcast.
my way back.
Okay. All right. The wife not letting you get a new one, or what's the deal here?
I don't like change. It's a Toyota. It's built to last.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, this is a busy time of year for you. You just announced, as of the recording of this episode, the closing of Cascade Lakes Highway, Paulina Lake Road, November 21st.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So that's our
8 a.m. right on the dot.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys get out there and they're like, it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
They close it.
It's very much like Groundhog Day for us. It's something we do every year, and the press comes and covers it, and it's an exciting, moment of winter announcement, and some people like seeing that. The folks that want to get behind that gate on snowmobiles, others kind of poo-poo it. They want to spend more time, hiking around in the Cascade Lakes area. But we close the gates, and at that point, it's basically a winter recreation area under the purview of the Forest Service at that point. So it serves a dual purpose.
Yeah, it's kind of safety. Obviously, a lot of snow up there.
Yeah.
And But it is kind of a sign of the times, right? It's kind of once those gates close, it's like, hey, winter's here. Let's go play. I mean,
Yep.
a little bit.
Bring it on. Yep.
Are you a snowshoer? Are you a snowmobiler?
I'm an ice fisherman.
Oh,
Yeah. But, I don't go up there for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that's my winter recreation.
learn something new about you every time. So I'm guessing this time, kind of this in-between time is a time of preparation for you and your team? Walk me through what your team does, because chip sealing is kind of a summer thing, right? We haven't had our first snowfall yet.
Yeah.
So what's this in-between time like for you and your team at the road department?
So you touched on our two primary, activities: chip seal, maintaining a pretty aggressive chip seal schedule, do 70 to 100 miles of chip seal every summer, and then of course, winter is all about snow and ice, operations and responding to that sort of thing. And so we kind of build our staff and our equipment around those two major activities. The time in between we call the shoulder seasons. And so, now's the time to get out and crack seal. If the weather allows, because it's colder, the cracks open up, they'll take more crack seal material. And then we're prepping, for next year's chip seal program or other maintenance activities after that. So that's, the thing we're doing right now before the snow flies is mostly in anticipation preparation for next year's pavement maintenance schedule. As far as snow and ice goes, that's almost a year-round preparation activity. If we're in the summer, and we need sanding material, that's the time to contract, for that crush and have it delivered and stockpiled, fill our sand shed up, get contractors under contract and familiar with certain areas that we're going to ask them to plow if we need their help. If we get a big snow, we bring in contractors to help with that. And just, making sure equipment's ready to go. So our shop right now is chock full of trucks getting plows mounted, our snow blowers getting worked on, that sort of thing. The last thing you want to do is, get caught with your pants down and have a bunch of snow and ice hit and not have the equipment and people on schedule and ready to respond. I
mean, I kind of envision this, Chris, like the Indy 500 a little bit. Like the shop right now is kind of like pit row. You're just running through those vehicles in there, getting everything all ready to go. Is it kind of like that, where it's like, hey, we're just getting pumped up and getting these machines ready to go and tackle snow season?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a transition, for our equipment, to go from, hauling chip rock and whatnot to, getting a plow mounted, having a sanding box put on a dump truck to allow it to sand as well as plow. And then those other specialty, pieces of equipment, get them ready to go. We do an anti-ice program, so we're spraying roads in certain locations. So we have 4 pieces of equipment that we apply that anti-ice mag chloride basically down. So those are getting prepped. They've been out already. We've had snow. We've had to plow, several times in South County and then the higher elevation areas. Okay. And of course, we're going to go plow Cascade Lakes Highway, Plant Lake Road, if they get snow prior to closure.
So you use de-icer, and you talked about sand. You don't use salt?
We, wink, wink, don't use salt. Okay. We do have a little bit actually on hand to really bust up ice formations around railroad tracks and other areas where we have an icing problem where ice can build up. We don't actively apply sand. And we don't actually de-ice. We do anti-ice.
Okay.
So that's when you see us out there spraying that liquid mag chloride on the road before there's any snow, before there's any ice, while the road's dry. That's what we're doing. That's to help the road from forming ice. And then, of course, that also helps that when ice, does come, it cleans up a lot easier that way to have that layer of basically salt water, down there, preventing ice to the greatest degree possible, then assisting with the melt-off.
And that's pretty effective, right?
It is, yeah.
It's so interesting because you go to different cities, different areas of the country, they tackle, kind of the freezing roads differently. Mm-hmm. Why isn't there a preferred method that's just kind of uniform that we've decided that works everywhere?
Yeah.
Is it just the different environments, or what's the deal?
It's different environments, different philosophies. Oregon is not a state that's typically used a lot of salt, if any. We kind of follow what the Oregon Department of Transportation does. They There's not a lot of salt close by and available here. So they're just now, implementing some salting of interstates and other major highways. That may, come into play for us. But, if you talk to people from those other states, and most states that do have snow and ice do use salt, the environmental impact, the impact of people's vehicles and rusting, is something that I don't know that would be a welcome addition to our portfolio, to become a heavy salt user all of a sudden. And
you don't want to mess up that Toyota.
People just slow down and be careful. Be responsible drivers in snow and ice. Have the right equipment. Change, not studs, but snow tires. There's a way to get around safely in our state without the use of that, but it certainly is helpful.
I was going to ask you about studs because those do have an impact on the roads. Do you find that that's, obviously there's a benefit to having them, safety and those kinds of things, but does it just tear up the roads? What do you see in terms of, are you like, oh yeah, lots of studded tires over here? Can you tell that? Yeah,
you can. So rutting, it's primarily a stud-caused issue. So you're going to see that mostly on state highways where there's just a lot of traffic and a lot of repetition. We don't have a tremendous amount of rutting on the county road system because we don't have a tremendous amount of volume.
Right.
And but on the state highways, absolutely, you can, where you see ruts, primarily that is due to studded tires. Modern snow tires have come a long way, and you can get good traction on snow and ice, without the use of studs. And so, we certainly encourage people to go that direction. But studs are certainly available and legal, and until they're not, we'll deal with them.
By the way, a quick plug for skid car training. We have that out at the road department. Not sure exactly what the schedule is right now, so I don't want to speak for them, but you can go to our website and Deschutes.org/skidcar and talk about, kind of navigating the snow and the ice and the slippery roads too. So good program there. I'm sure that this is kind of the time of year where you start bracing for questions like, hey, are you going to come plow my roads this year? I'm wondering, how do you prioritize plowing roads?
Yeah, great question.
Can you explain that process?
Yeah. So in Deschutes County, we have a snow and ice plan. It's something that basically sets our priorities for how we respond to an incident. And so we have 5 different snow zones in the county. The 5th snow zone is basically everything in East County. And we actually don't do response. We just that's very low priority because there's not a lot of people out there, not a lot of roads, but not a lot of traffic, and a community out there that's used to dealing with this sort of thing. So we prioritize our response, on our busy roads, primarily in and around the cities. We prioritize our arterials first, so things like Old Ben Redmond Highway, Powell Butte Highway, Burgess Road, South County. So it's all about getting those major arterials cleared first in a handful of different snow zones. And then once those are done, we're down to the collector roadway level. So the roads that feed into those arterials. And then, our kind of last priority are going to be the local roads, subdivisions, things like that. So you'll see us, responding to those busy roads first, sometimes actually having to go back and do them again. Just to make sure that, people get out of your subdivision, get out of your area,
right,
and get on the system, that we've got prepped. We'll get there eventually. And, typical question,
it's hard because people's, what's important to them is maybe not the magnitude of, kind of the volume of traffic or whatever that needs priority first. So that's hard. I guess, it's hard to say, hey, we'll get to you, but we've got to deal with this first. I don't know. I would think that would be difficult. But are there areas of the county that are more difficult than others? When it comes to plowing, I don't know if it's hilly or things like that. Are there areas that you're like, oh, man, we got to get out here?
Yeah. The area that comes to mind is the Deschutes River Woods subdivision. Yeah. Thousands of homes out there. very skinny, tight roads. Meteorologically, they tend to get a lot more snow than other parts of Bend and that southern area. And so that's an area that when we get significant snowfall, we actually hire a contractor to go in with graders, which is a better tool to use in that type of environment to clear those roads. And so, like I maybe alluded to earlier, contractors are a big part of our plan. We can handle, I would say, a typical snow event. Historical snow event is 6 inches in Lapine, a couple inches here in Bend, and little, if anything, in North County. That's kind of what we're built for. But when it goes a foot everywhere at the same time, we need to bring in help.
That's a problem.
That's a big problem.
Yeah.
So we'll have contractors on the call, ready to go for North County, kind of the Terrebonne, North Redmond area, Deschutes River Woods, and then other contractors in various subdivisions in South County, that will help us kind of, get to those trouble spots first, so we can focus on, the area that's more near and around the road department.
I was
in
going
South County.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what are the tools in your toolbox?
Yeah.
For tackling? I mean, obviously you've got the big guns, for things like Cascade Lakes Highway, but you just talked about narrow roads, and I'm assuming that's difficult. You talked about, maybe it's just trucks with a plow on the front end, and then I'm assuming you get out with a shovel and, get people's roads and.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, absolutely, right. So, what are the tools in your toolbox for those kinds
So
of things?
the frontline piece of equipment people are going to see the most of are dump trucks with plows.
Okay.
And those dump trucks can sometimes have a sander box placed inside the dump truck that will allow them to plow, clear the snow and ice, and then sand behind them and provide that traction material. Some of our plows don't have that, so we just, are strictly plows. So primarily folks will see dump trucks and plows doing the work. We have a smaller number of motor graders. Those are those big, long pieces of equipment you see with a big, huge, kind of scraper that typically grade gravel roads. Those come in super handy for snow and ice because of all the power that they bring to the table. So with a snow plow, it's the weight of that plow sitting on the snow and ice, and the weight of the truck behind it pushing it. With the motor grader, you've got power pushing that blade down that can take ice off, take you down to bare pavement a lot sooner, and do a better job. Not as many of those, and you have to employ those fairly judiciously because of a small number. We have several snow blowers, and so our big one is primarily used to clear Cascade Lakes Highway every year of snow. So
That's a big guy.
a big guy, yeah. So we close that road, close Polana Lake Road, from mid-November to Memorial Day every year, and upon probably around spring break time, we'll get up in those areas with our snow blower and other pieces of equipment to start clearing that road. And last couple winters, we've had up to 10 feet of snow accumulate in those areas. Probably the biggest reason we're not doing that on a daily basis. I mean, that's how much snow gets dumped on in those high Cascade Lakes areas. So
It's a pretty cool process too. I've been up there with your team, and they do great work, by the way.
Yeah.
Working very, very hard, and man, that stuff just cuts right through and shoots it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
A couple stories in the air and gets it out of there. I mean, it's a pretty cool process.
So we'll snow blow those areas. We have a smaller one that we'll actually use in those constrained subdivision areas. So when we do get a ton of snow, we need to dump truck it out sometimes. And so we have a small blower that will actually load into back of a dump truck so we can haul out. And we'll use that blower as well on the 45 road, which is a road from Sun River to Mount Bachelor. Sometimes the snow gets deep enough in that area that we'll have to do a little bit of blowing, or more frequently, ODOT will come and help us out and pick up that area with their snow blower, because they're up there all winter, plowing their portion of it and using their snow blower more frequently than we are ours.
And how much plowing are you doing?
I'm overseeing the operation.
But you've got to be tempted, right? I mean, that looks kind of fun.
It's
hard work. I'm not taking that away, but it kind of looks fun too.
It looks fun. It's harder than it looks.
Yeah.
I've tried it. There's a reason why I don't do any of it. yeah, I mean, we'd have to be replacing equipment frequently. Anything that I would touch. So it's not my gift. Let's leave it at that.
Not your gift. ODOT has announced some changes when it comes to plowing roads, and I won't dig into all of their reasons or what it is, but they're trimming back a little bit in some areas. Will that affect the county at all in terms of what you do, or is it basically apples and oranges, their roads, your roads?
It is mostly a their roads, our roads type situation. I think we've been spoiled. They do a great job, especially in their high priority areas, providing a continual response. But it comes at a tremendous cost, and so they'll still be out plowing. It won't be at the frequency that I think we've grown accustomed to. But it'll still be, I believe, to an acceptable level of service given the conversations I've had with their team. So, their roads may look like our roads. We're not able to provide that level of service, that they do, where they're on the highway continuously, and where we have a 700-mile paved system and a 900-mile total system to get to over the course of an event. So. Bare pavement may not be something, we see a lot of during those big events, but we'll see. I'm hopeful.
Well, this is an interesting balancing act, right? Because you're balancing the weather versus, being cost effective. Probably staffing comes into play, and you're trying to please everybody at the same time while managing those variables, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's got to be hard.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have the snow and ice plan. And this is something the board has approved, prior board at least, that dictates, here's how we're going to do it. We can't be everywhere all at once. And sometimes it's going to take longer than other times. But, this is our playbook. And this is the play we're going to call. So as a citizen, this is what you can expect. And for the most part, even during those big events, we can have our system fairly cleared out within several days. And from what I understand, that's better than it used to be. We have technology now that we're using in the plows. We have basically iPads that folks can tap into. They can see when the roads in their area were plowed last, so the operator can know, okay, this hasn't been touched yet. I'm going to hit this corridor.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's GPS,
I didn't know that.
But the telematics of snow plowing right now for a system like that, it's pretty neat. I think that's made us a lot more efficient. And then we're always going to miss something. That's the thing about snow is it hides everything. Not every road out there is a county road. And we have a lot of new operators as well. And so this gives us the ability to kind of see our system where we need to be and pick up things. So it's made us more efficient for sure.
Technology.
Mm-hmm.
It's great sometimes. I'm sure you've had perfect winters where you've gotten no complaints, right? Tons of
still waiting for that one. Yeah.
How do you handle the criticisms and the complaints of your department when it comes to snow plowing?
Yeah.
Because it just, I don't know how you. Obviously you're abiding by your plan,
mm-hmm.
and then you might get this wave of complaints because the snow hit harder in their area, or they've been back, whatever the reasons might be.
Yeah.
How do you deal with those?
Yeah, the biggest complaint we get is that we plow driveways shut, right? So with 700 miles, we don't have enough resources. Most agencies don't. When you plow, you're pushing the snow to the right, and that's going to go in someone's driveway, and they're going to have to deal with it. And that's one of the unfortunate elements of our snow and ice plan. We said basically, unfortunately, that's going to be the property owner's responsibility to clear the berm. And so, your poor property owners out there, they've beat us to the road. They've plowed, they've shoveled, they've opened their driveway. Here we come, and there's a couple feet of snow between their driveway and the road they need to get to. Or they come home from work, and there it is. And that's a big bummer. I wish that wasn't the case. But unfortunately, it's the way it has to be for us to get everywhere and deal with these events. And so, showing empathy,
Right.
which one of us has that not happened to? And that's a bummer deal. The other thing I do want to point out is that, we do have a a permit where we will open driveways for a medically, basically a medical exemption, such that if you are unable physically to clear your driveway, and then there's also a fiscal test. If you're unable to hire someone due to fiscal circumstances to clear your driveway for you, we will send someone out with a pickup plow and open up driveways. And so,
that's cool.
Yeah, and you can access that, on the road department website, deschutes.org/road, or call the department. Numbers listed there. Fill out the form. You have to do it every year. But that is a way to deal with that at that certain level. If people are physically unable to, fiscally unable to deal with that, we'll come take care of that.
You don't bring in volunteers or anything like that, do you, to help or anything along those lines?
No. We have equipment that demands a level of expertise, and so our folks we do have seasonal employees who will come in and help maybe do the pickup plow work, not the big dump truck, highway plows, but something just to help clear driveways and do other things. And smaller pieces of equipment. We don't have a commercial driver's license, so that's a part of our response plan as well. But yeah, no volunteers, unfortunately. Now that said, when the big snows hit, Snowmageddon, people like to talk about, volunteers do step forward in the community to shovel driveways for folks. Yeah. And when those things happen, you'll hear about churches and other groups stepping forward and offering that.
And we encourage everybody to help out their neighbor. That's always
Absolutely.
a good thing. It's not all criticism and complaints. You do get to enjoy this job, right? I imagine some of the benefit of working in the road department is you're helping people.
Absolutely. No, I've got the best job in the world. Yeah, absolutely love it.
That's cool. I'm here with Chris Doty, the Road Department Director for Deschutes County. Any big projects on the horizon? So snow plowing aside, are there any big projects on the horizon for the county when it comes to road work?
Yeah. A couple that are kind of ongoing right now and coming forward. So, Hunnell Road project has been happening all year long, all summer long. That should see a big portion of that paved here, weather permitting. Kind of maybe the last few trucks of asphalt get in place this year. We'll be on Hunnell Road hopefully within the next few weeks. That's ongoing. We've got the Gribbling Bridge out on Gribbling Road east of Bend that's going to be replaced soon. We just finished a roundabout at Deschutes Market Road in Hamehook, but there's another roundabout.
Nice one.
Yeah, there's another roundabout waiting in the wings that will go out to bid here pretty soon, and that's at Powell Butte Highway, Butler Market Road.
Okay.
Additionally, the county is ODOT and the county are partnering on a big project in Terrebonne, and so that will go out to bid probably after the first of the year.
What's that project?
With construction starting in March, and that is an interchange on Lower Bridge Way and Highway 97, and basically all the work in Terrebonne we've been talking about for the last several years. So rebuilding 11th Street, which is the road just east of Highway 97, paralleling 97, to provide just bike lanes and sidewalk in some area to serve that commercial core part of Terrebonne. Rebuilding Smith Rock Way from Highway 97 out to the railroad tracks. So all the little
that one needs a little help.
That one does need help.
You got some pull there because that left-hand turn. Get onto 97 off of Smith Rock.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So the interchange in Terrebonne is going to provide a way for folks in that community to access 97 without making that tough left.
Yeah.
And we've all been there and seen the amount of traffic coming through on Sunday afternoon when everyone is going back to where they came from, and it's dang near impossible. And so, having that interchange, having county roads that kind of feed into that to help the community have improved service. Going to be a huge change for Terrebonne.
What else do you want? Last question, and I appreciate all the time you've given us. What else do you want people to know about your department? It's chip sealing, it's snow maintenance, it's some of these big projects, roundabouts, things. But what else do you want people to know about you, your team, and the work that you do?
Yeah, no, it's all about the team, and I think that. the public should feel real good about the folks working at the Deschutes County Road Department in all aspects. The operations component, is a big part of what we do. That's the most visible piece. We're out there chip sealing, we're plowing snow, stuff like that. The fleet team that basically keeps all that equipment running, not just the road department's equipment, but the county's light fleet. So all the vehicles that, with the exception of the sheriff's office, are maintained, out there at the fleet division and the road department. And our engineering group, we're building a lot of projects. We just talked about a few, but the list is a lot longer than that of things that are happening in our system that's driven by, primarily by safety. We're fortunate enough to have revenue coming in that allows us to build capital projects. We're not just maintaining what we have, but we're improving our system. And a lot of that is just dealing with safety. Those roundabouts that we're building aren't there to necessarily provide capacity to the system, but they're there to slow people down and make sure people can get on the system safely. And that's what I'd like to know. They've got good people, there at the road department doing the work.
It's a good team.
Yeah.
A heavily bearded team.
Yeah, I'm trying to help out with that. It's the beard I'm trying to grow right now is been likened to a cactus, I'm told, by one of my daughters, and we won't go on that. But yeah,
A prickly pear.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Chris Doty, Road Department Director. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, my pleasure.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have questions about the road department, you can go to deschutes.org/road. You can find the weekly road report there, closure information, details about capital projects, all sorts of good stuff. And if you have a question about this podcast or ideas for future podcasts, you can email us at info@deschutes.org. And remember to subscribe to the Inside Deschutes County podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. We're on Apple, we're on Google, Spotify, Amazon Music. Drop us a review and a rating. We'd really appreciate it. Until next time, we hope you're safe on the roads.